going on, beautiful people? This is Chasing Mondays, episode 5. And over the next couple weeks, I want to go over some of the tools of the trade, tools of the travel trade that I use to help me book my flights, find accommodations, and have successful trips all the way around. Today, we'll start with the Hopper app, and then we'll progress through to different apps over the coming weeks. Really appreciate everybody's support so far. Let's start with Hopper. Let's hop into it.
All right, so you have my home screen here. We'll click into the travel box where I store most of my travel apps. So multiple apps here, and they're all really good for different things, but for the basis of what we'll go over today, we'll cover the top row of apps as well as maybe one or two of the hotel apps as well. First, let's start with Hopper. I like Hopper because it has a really easy and intuitive interface, and I'm going to go through each of these four tabs that you see at the bottom. So it talks about watch, notifications, search, and trip. We'll start on the search tab, and so I am based in Phoenix, so that's where we're going to originate. And let's pick somewhere. Let's go to Paris. Right, so Paris, France, 3 airports. I will tell you, so I did type in Paris, but Paris is probably going to be one of the more expensive airports to travel from Phoenix. If you remember, CDG, Charles de Gaulle, is a Delta hub, so it would actually be better to fly out of LA or even JFK or ATL. But you see here the cheapest price, and I'll go over this here in a moment, but the cheapest price we're seeing is approximately $1,000. Let's try from LA. Originating in LA. Want to go to Paris, so all 3 airports. And so, okay, so we'll go from here, right? So immediately, just by switching airports that are actually pretty close, right? So you can probably get $150 flight from Phoenix to LA and begin your trip there, and that would save you approximately $400 right off the bat. Because as we see, the cheapest flights are going to be $500, and the way I can tell is that at the top when it says select your travel dates. And if you notice, I didn't select my travel dates at first. I selected my origin and my destination, and then what it gives me here is actually a map. And what the map is telling me, based upon these color codes up here at the top, is that your cheapest flights are going to be denoted in green, and your more expensive flights will be denoted in red. So what you want to try to do is always, the number one rule of travel is you need to be flexible. And so what you want to do here is you want to identify and try to make your origin and destination, your return trip, and the flight that you come back. You want those to likely be green boxes. So let's say we want to go take a trip over the Thanksgiving holiday. A lot of people like to do that, and that's another trick that I like to do. And I'll go and I'll group in a holiday with one of my trips, and therefore I don't have to use those vacation days. So say we want to leave Wednesday the 22nd, and we will return back from Paris a week later. And both of those are green, so we'll search. We'll watch the cute little bunny run across the screen for a little while. Hopefully not for long, but let it think. All right, take a swig of beer. Take a sip of wine while we're waiting. Wow, it's thinking, ain't it? That means it's going to give me something good. All right. So immediately, as we saw, from flying out of Phoenix, we saw the cheapest price was going to be $1,000. On the dates that I selected, November 22nd through the 29th, taking advantage of the Thanksgiving holiday, we can book a round trip ticket from $648. And honestly, $648 from LA to Paris it's a decent price, but Hopper is telling us that we should wait. And if you see here, it's telling us we should wait, and not only that, we could save as much as $195 per ticket by watching the trip. So what we'll do is another feature of the Hopper app that I really love is I'll watch the trip. And so the trip is watched, and it will also give me price predictions. So talking about October 2nd through November 22nd, the departure, so it's essentially it's saying that we should buy the tickets potentially after October 2nd. But I won't have to worry about that. So I hit this watching button here, and I can actually just forget about it for now. And if I go over here to that first watch screen, you'll see some of the trips that I may have been watching for various reasons, right? So watching, Memphis, Munich, Amsterdam, and now I'm watching Paris. I'm also watching London. If you look, I'll scroll back up to the top. It's telling me for my Munich trip, for my Memphis trip, for Las Vegas even, that I should book those now. So if I was going to go on those trips for whatever reason, Munich is actually an interesting one because those dates line up with Oktoberfest. If I was going to book the trip, then I would book it now or today or soon, based upon what Hopper is recommending me. Now, if I scroll down to the Paris trip that we're watching, it's telling us to wait. If you see the goggles or the binoculars up there telling us to wait, we click in and it gives us essentially what we were looking at before. So to give you an example, right? So it's telling us to wait now, but in the future, I will get a notification on my phone telling me that I should book, right? So I'm looking at my notifications now. So these are the couple notifications that I've gotten in the past week or so, right? So looking at Phoenix to London, telling me that I should keep waiting. Phoenix to Memphis, I should book it soon. Guatemala City on Spirit, I should book that now. Amsterdam as well, I should book that now. And then you also have trips over here. And honestly, what I actually do with the Hopper app is I will use the Hopper app to follow everything, but then I'll go online and I'll go to the website of the airline that the app is on, and we can go into the shopping. And so this is Turkish Airlines, and so they're in line with United, right? So they're in the alliance with United, and so I would either go on the Turkish Airlines website or I would go on the United website and use them and book directly through that website. And that's the Hopper app.